Hello. Today we will talk a little bit about how to use Westlaw Edge to find cases by citation and name. Two very basic features available on Westlaw Edge. If you have the citation of a case, whether it is the official or a parallel citation, you can find it by simply typing the information in the search box at the very top of the screen. We also do not care how you type the information, meaning we don't worry about proper capitalization or punctuation. You don't have to worry about using spaces between the volume, the reporter, and the page. For example, I'm attempting to find 386 Mass 540. I could type it this way. I could type it this way. I could type it with a capital M. It's still going to find, as long as you have a proper citation, it's still going to find the case you're attempting to retrieve. The other tip I wanted you to be aware of when working with cases is that sometimes you'll have the name of a case rather than the citation. In a situation like that, I'm going to just go back to the Westlaw Edge homepage. Again, using that one search box, just start typing the name of the case you're attempting to retrieve. And with the predictive type ahead technology on Edge, it's going to attempt to read your mind, if you will, and assuming you've typed the name properly, you're going to be able to find exactly what you want. And why am I displaying two different versions of Jablonski v. Clements here? Well, you're going to have the various iterations available to you, the lower court, appeals court, and if this case went up to the highest court in a particular jurisdiction, you could have a third version. In this instance, I'm looking to find the Mass Appeals Court version of Jablonski v. Clements. I just click, and it will pull up that case for us. Now, at this point, I actually wanted to show you the first case, Peyton v. Abbott Labs. And before you use the back arrow to go back to information, I wanted you to be aware of the history link that is presented to you on Westlaw. Westlaw saves your entire history, every search you've run, every document you've viewed for an entire year. Now, when I click history, I could view my history going back an entire year, or, and this is going to help us in this session, if you wanted to go back to one of the last 5+ things you've done on Westlaw, it'll just give you sort of a shortcut, if you will. I want to go back to Peyton v. Abbott Labs right now, and we'll use this case for the remainder of the session. When you are viewing cases on Westlaw, some really important information is displayed at the very top of the screen. Obviously, the name of the case, date, and court that wrote the opinion we're about to read. You have both your official and parallel citations to the case. Keep in mind the first citation you are viewing is always the official reporter for that particular case. So in this instance, for Peyton v. Abbott Labs, Mass Reports is the official reporter for this case. Volume 386, Mass 540 is the first citation. The unofficial reporter is going to be the Northeastern reporter. This case also appears in volume 437 of the Northeastern Reporter, second version, page 171. This case is also approximately 33 pages if we printed it. More on that in a minute. Right below that, you're going to see some information pertaining to the validity of the case, its appellate history, and other documents that analyze this case. This information we're going to cover in a key site lecture, which I will record separately. Right below that is a browsing bar giving me an ability to, among other things, obtain a hard copy of this case. So if I wanted to, I could email, print, download, send this case to my Dropbox or Kindle. I also have the ability to save this particular case to a folder. And this is going to be an important method for using Westlaw. You will want to, for each session that requires you to use, or each task or issue that you're researching where you're going to be using Westlaw, you will want to save items to folders. This particular research I'm doing is negligent infliction of emotional distress. We'll just call it negligent infliction. Click OK. Save this case to that folder. Now I can always go back and add other items to the folder. And this will become a really important process of research. The other thing I wanted to point out that's really, really crucial when you're reading cases on Westlaw is that the editors have made it very easy for us to identify and work with cases. As I said a minute ago, this case is 33 pages long. I would never recommend reading the entire opinion because there are better ways of gaining an insight and understanding as to whether the case is going to be helpful for the task you've been assigned. We provide you with 2 research aids. Number 1, a synopsis, and number 2, head notes. What are they? Well, the synopsis is simply a summary of the case itself, the facts, the issues, and the holding, the law enunciated by the court. And the reason you'd want to read the synopsis first is that rather than reading 33 pages before realizing this case is not really dealing with the issue I've been assigned to research. Let's say that I was researching a trade secrets issue. If I read the entire opinion, I'm going to be wasting a lot of time before belatedly concluding the case doesn't help me with the trade secrets research I am conducting. But if I had read the synopsis, I'm going to know right away this case deals mainly with negligent infliction of emotional distress issues. And if that was the task I had been assigned to research, the synopsis, in 2 minutes, I know this case is going to be very helpful. The synopsis is pointing out to me that this is going to be a potentially relevant case. As such, my next step would be to scan the head notes. Now, what are the head notes? Quite simply, head notes summarize every single issue in the case itself. This case has 12 head notes, 12 distinct issues. Issues 1, 2, and 3 dealt with the main topic damages. Issues 4 through 8 dealt with the main legal topic product liability. Issues 9 and 10 were courts issues. Issue 11 was a negligence issue. So head notes serve multiple purposes. Number 1, they're going to summarize every single issue in the case. Number 2, they allow us to target the parts of a case that are most helpful for us. I'm not researching a product liability issue or a courts issues. Those are really completely irrelevant to me. I'm researching a negligent infliction of emotional distress issue, and I can see really that issue 1 and issue 3 in particular look like really good issues for me on that particular point. Now, knowing this, let me just warn you, here's head note number 3. It deals with the main topic damages. Subtopic is negligent infliction of emotional distress. In fact, there are 2 ways of looking at head notes. This is the list view. This is the grid view. Why do we have 2 different views? The third thing that head notes accomplish for us, every single head note from every single case has been placed somewhere in the West topic and key number system. It is simply a gigantic index of all American law. And if I were researching the topic negligent infliction of emotional distress in Massachusetts, I could, using this number here, get other cases that have been classified to that precise point of law. It's really a very good way of getting all the relevant cases on a particular issue once you've come across a good head note. But the warning I was about to tell you about is that while the main topic is damages, the subtopic is negligent infliction of emotional distress in general. Here's a summary of that particular issue. Do not think for a minute that you can simply copy and use this language in a memo or brief. These are editorial enhancements. The headnote editors have read the case for us, have summarized these issues for us, and have made it very easy for us to identify and understand each distinct issue. If this was something that I was interested in using and learning more about from this case, I can simply click the number 3. It jumps me into the opinion where the judge was discussing this particular point of law. Now, if I want to, I can click and drag with my left mouse button, and when I release, you'll see a list of choices on the screen. If I wanted to quote this language in a memo or brief, I could select that 4th item on the list. Copy with reference standard will copy this quote in Blue Book format. For those of you who use Allwood, you would want to change that copy with reference feature to Allwood instead of standard. Now, what happens when I copy with reference? It's going to let us know the text has been copied to our clipboard. And when I go to my Word document and paste, I get not only the quote, but I get both the official and the parallel pinpoint citations. Real nice time saver when you're using something like this. The other feature I wanted you to be aware of that's going to be helpful is that, and you may have noticed this, when we click and drag with our left mouse button, we also have the ability to add our own work product to these documents, i.e., I can highlight this passage, or I can highlight and add a note to myself. For example, this is elements of NIED in Massachusetts. Real nice thing about notes and highlights are that they remain on your password for as long as your password remains active. Or, if I wanted to just delete this, I could just click the delete button here. The other nice feature about notes and highlights, if I decided to email you a copy of this document, again, using the browsing bar to the upper right, I could email this, print, download, send to my Dropbox or Kindle. But if I decided to email this to you, I have the ability to email you just the plain document or the document and my work product as well. So just be wary if working with clients. If you don't want them, they might want a copy of the regulation or the statute that comes into play for the issue you're helping them with. Be very wary about sending them your work product, but real nice feature. Another really nice thing about reading cases on Westlaw is that you'll see this running outline on the right-hand side of the screen, letting you know where you are within the opinion. And that becomes really, really important in situations where you're reading the concurring or dissenting part of a case. You never want to cite the dissenting part of the opinion. It's not the law. Well, on Westlaw, you're going to know that you're in the dissent because that running outline just lets us know that. And I won't make the mistake of maybe trying to copy and use this language in my memo or brief. Okay, that is it for today's session. Thanks for your time, and look for more of these sessions in the future. Thank you.